Yeah, what's the word? It's your boy A-Ball. We back at it like a crack at it with another episode of the Cold Podcast, where we talk about choices, opinions, decisions, and most importantly, experiences. Because what? Experiences is the best teacher. I'm your host, A-Ball, as per usual. But to my left, I got one of them fly-ass, cool-ass co-hosts here today. Could introduce yourself. Let them know who you are.
What's up, Cold Podcast family? Beau Morgan. You can follow me on Instagram at Beau5Morgan. I'm just man's line brother. So we go way back.
Hair clip. For sure, man. Today's episode we're gonna entitle it "Sweet Home Alabama." Now it's crazy, right? That's one of my only white songs that I know, honestly speaking. But it was funny because I was watching 8 Mile last night, right? But here nor there, this episode is gonna be more informative, where we talk about how it is trying to buy a home, what things to look for, questions that a lot of you guys want to ask, and I'm gonna ask them for you, of course. So, of course, I'm gonna ask this, and we can go forward, but it's gonna be informative. So make sure y'all tap in, listen, and write some questions down, so that way, if I don't ask them for you, you can put them down in the comments after you watch the video. You feel me? You ready?
Ready to go.
All right. So first and foremost, who are you specifically? I know you said Beau, you're my line brother, of course, but who are you and what do you do?
Well, it's pretty simple. I'm Beau. I'm a father, God-fearing man. I'm a realtor. Been doing that full time for 3.5 years now since I graduated. I work with HomeSmart, licensed in DC, Maryland, and Virginia. That's pretty much the gist. I mean,
Word. So, when you say a realtor,
yep.
Elaborate on that for me.
Okay. It's really broad. Okay.
Because I don't know. Seriously, I don't know.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Because a lot of realtors, they just, I see what you're saying. So I help people buy. I help people sell as well. But really, my main, few niches are investing. Right. I have a lot of investing experience. I've done personal investing myself. I've worked with some of the biggest investors in the DMV area. Also, I've helped people, of course, get their home sold. Right now, I work with a lot of people who find themselves going through probate, which is say if my uncle were to pass away and, I was the next of kin, or he chose me to be his personal representative or executor of the estate. Now there's a home that they need to figure out what they need to do with it, right? Or whether they need to make a plan, or what they already have plans already written in the will, whatever the case may be. So I work a lot with probates and help people sell the estate, and that way they can take care of everything they need to take care of as far as the descendant and their funeral expenses, whatever they have to take care of. So, so that's why I help out a lot with as well. I've also helped a lot of first-time home buyers. Worked out a lot with them. Yeah. Worked a lot with them. I love working with first-time home buyers because I really feel like owning a home is, one of the smoothest ways to. People always say they want generational wealth. Like, what are we doing to get there? I think owning a home is definitely one of those beautiful places to get there over time, and you'll be able to rock out.
And now, let me ask the question.
Yeah.
God,
right.
You put them two gems out there early on.
All right.
For sure.
Go ahead and cut that up.
For sure. All right. So, how did you get into the business?
Great question. So I got into the real estate business because, for one, I was a junior in college when my little man was born. And at that time, I wanted to do physical therapy. I have a degree in biology. And so it's definitely on two totally, opposite ends of the spectrum there.
Thanks.
But I needed to find a way to be able to, honestly, it was definitely money motivated when I first got into it. Find a way to get some money fast. And also at the same time, I always wanted to affect my kids. And I feel like this is one of the best career paths for me in order to do so. I connect well with people. And then once I started digging and, doing a little research, and I'm looking around at who's out here really getting into real estate, who's not. I'm saying, if it's possible for any other man, it's possible for me too. And that's how I look at it. And so that's how I wanted to get into the business. I was sitting at my cousin's table the summer before I graduated, just like most seniors, not knowing what they're about to do.
Facts.
And she was doing real estate at the time and just mentioned to me about real estate, and kind of just got bit by the bug a little bit. And I started doing more research, and I mean, I found myself for that next semester, my last semester in college, I mean, falling asleep to YouTube videos every night of real estate and how to get business and what is wholesaling. Even with the investing sphere, everyone always say I'm a wholesaler and, wants to get into that too. So that's always one of those interesting subjects, and it seems so quick and easy. And so, yeah, that's how I got into the business. Just wanted to find a way to get some money ASAP. Because if you do physical therapy, you got to do 4 more years of school. I couldn't afford myself 4 more years of school, right? Sure. So that's kind of what I did, and then I'm just kind of making it happen.
That's what's up. That's what's up. I heard how you said something about wholesale. I know a lot of people are trying to jump into that road and stuff like that. You had an experience in wholesaling?
Me?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, my first deal ever was a wholesale deal.
Okay. Yep. Cool beans. Cool beans. That's what's up. I know a lot of people say it's money in there and stuff like that. And
it is.
Yo, bro, you should pull up and hop on this wave and stuff like that. And I never really said real estate was for me, but I went a different route. But that's not my route for me or whatever. But I do believe there's money in real estate altogether. So
no doubt, you got to carve your own path. You can take good advice, but don't follow orders. So you can hear them out. What works for others may not work for you.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think you touched on this, but are you only licensed in Maryland?
No, I'm licensed in Maryland, D.C., and Virginia. I started off just being licensed in Maryland, but as you get up there in the DMV area, you're gonna have clients in Northern Virginia. You're gonna have people who want to buy in Northern Virginia. You won't be able to service them, and so it took me a little bit of time to get those other licenses. But once you get one, it's easy to knock down the other dominoes. It's pretty simple, actually.
Okay, cool. You got to take different tests too?
Different tests. So what you do is you apply through reciprocity. Basically, when you first get licensed, you have to take the national and the state test. And say if I wanted to get in D.C., I have to just sit down, take the D.C. state test, and then show up a good letter of standing in Maryland, submit it. You got to pay. That's the thing. They want you to pay for each and every jurisdiction.
Damn.
So once you pay for D.C., they review your application, you're good to go. Virginia, they a little extra. They want you to fax stuff in and where you're at, but either way, you're still just sitting for that state test and not have to do the brand new national test all over again. So,
got you. Put you in the mindset here. I'm just getting out of college, or I'm just turning 18. What are some most important things I should look for when I'm looking to buy a home?
For me, if I was young, and especially like young, single, little to no responsibilities at that time, say if you have no children or whatnot, when you go into a home, you want to I look at how I'm gonna enter the home, what programs are available, because people don't know there's a lot of, working in finance, a lot of first-time home buyer programs that are available. So I want to look at the programs and what areas that I need to be in for that. Of course, everyone's talking about interest rates, right? That's a major topic in today's world, given that the rates are pretty high right now. But then I want to look at how I'm gonna enter the home. College graduates, I remember my first little Instagram video I put out was how to get your college debt paid before I buy a home in Maryland. Like Maryland has a program where if you own less than $30,000, at that time it was $40,000, now it's $30,000 in student loan debt. If you buy a house, they'll pay for that student loan debt.
I'm moving to Maryland tonight.
Yeah. So, it's just part of the Maryland mortgage program. Now, of course, there's certain requirements. You got to have an X amount of credits. You got to have a 720 credit score. So you got to be solid, right? Yeah. And then if you owe more than $30,000, then you got to pay the rest off at closing. So say if you owe like 40, you got to pay an extra 10. But
it's like a give and take with everything.
Right. And they also give you a little bit more money to close as well. Like I think $5,000 in closing assistance. No, stuff like that. I look at entry, and I also want to look at what are the exit points, right? So what am I buying this house at? A lot of people, and this is new construction is amazing. A lot of people like a new construction home and stuff like that.
Yeah, I want some brand new. I want to buy some land and build on it.
I mean, you're buying it at the top of the market. Honestly, a little bit above the top of the market, the tip top of the market if you're buying a new construction home. Yeah. Because you're going to take you a long time to build that equity up. Because, again, this is developer developing 40 lots into 40 homes. They already know what they're going to sell for before they even develop the lots. And you're buying it at the top of the market. It's going to take you a long time to even sell and make a little bit of profit. So I look at entry and exit, like, is it worth it for me? And if you're young and you're going to a home, you starting out doing stuff like an FHA 203K loan where they give you the money to buy the house and renovate the house, That's a great tool to use. Of course, a lot of people like the term house hacking. I'm sure you've heard of that. You kind of buy a 3 or 4 unit building, live in one, rent out the other 2.
Yeah.
It's like stuff like that. That's what I would like if I was young. Didn't have any responsibilities or was fine with living with other people in the same building.
Duplex and stuff like that.
Right, yeah, duplex or triplex. Now, in certain areas, are tougher to find, but you don't need a crazy loan for stuff like that. Like FHA, I believe they give you up to 4 units you can get with the FHA loan.
That's what.
So yeah. I look at entry and exit. Like, what am I buying it for? How much equity is in there? Because you want to have flexibility. That's part of having a house. It's a flexibility. You know what I mean? So
Absolutely. Do you believe that home ownership is for everybody?
I do.
Okay. Elaborate on that.
I do.
Gotcha.
I do. I know a few people would disagree, but in my opinion, I feel like home ownership is for everybody because, again, I just talked about being a vehicle for generational wealth. I just talked about what it can do for owning a home as far as having flexibility, right? Your taxes. You can do a lot of write-offs. It saves you money on taxes. And you want to be able to leave something for your legacy. Like, of course, a home is a great thing to leave. You can leave other things too, stocks, bonds, IRAs, whatever you need to leave. But I feel like everyone should own a home at some point in time in their life. A lot of people are worried because of the maintenance costs. What if the AC goes out? You can't just call the apartment maintenance man. Like, that type of thing. But at the end of the day, when you're going through life, you're going to build a lot of connections. You're going to know a lot of people that do certain things. Of course, you don't want just Uncle Larry to do every single thing in the house. You want to make sure stuff is also up to par, the work that is. But owning a home, it should be for everybody. It should be a goal of everybody's. Whether it's attainable for you right now or not, different story. Okay. But it should be a goal of everybody to own a home. I think somebody who says I'm rent rest of my life, I just can't. It doesn't make sense in my head.
Gotcha.
It doesn't make sense in my head. Like, I'm about to throw away. Rent is high these days too. People talk about mortgages high. Rent is sky high. It's raising like crazy. If you're throwing away, say if you in the DMV area, you bring a nice 1-bedroom apartment, be about $2,600 a month.
Yeah.
Like, that's over $30,000 a year.
Facts.
Like, you put it into an apartment that you never going to own, that you cannot will it. Yep. You cannot pass it through. Like, you could put this money towards something else. Now, of course, where I'm gonna live in the interim, you can save up, do certain. There's so much different stuff. I can kind of go on and on about that stuff. But I think homeownership should be a goal of everyone's. Again, whether it's attainable right now, different story. If you're ready for it or not, different story. But it should be a goal at some point in your life.
At some point in your life.
Yeah, at some point in your life. Like, I don't see how somebody can live a life and not have a goal of, I do want to own a house one day. Like, that's
yeah, one day at least.
Yeah. Like, come on.
This is mine.
This is mine. I own this. Here's what I can do with it, and here's what I can't do with it. So
yeah. So I've heard this little myth or a bunch of rumors and all this stuff like that. Watching TikTok and Instagram and listen to hearsay too, right?
Right.
Someone said there's no best time to buy because the market is continuously moving and continuously gradually going up and down. When is the best time to buy?
Best time to buy is when you're ready.
Okay.
That's the best time to buy.
Gotcha.
Whenever you're ready to buy. Whenever you have the credit score, whenever you have, money saved up and set aside just for this, the best time to buy is when you're ready. Get in, when you're ready. Even if you're ready right now, the rates being, I think today, was it 7.79? It's pretty high. Mm-hmm. But if you're ready to buy a house, go buy that house. Otherwise, what you gonna do? You going to the DR with 8-ball every 2 months?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
margaritas.
Like, what you gonna do? So, if the time to buy is when you're ready to buy. And you can always refinance later when the rates dip to 3-4%. That's a good rate. I'm cool with having that for a while. I'm a refi. Now, I'm not a big fan of refinancing past maybe the first 2 to 3 years of the loan.
Okay. Why is that?
The reason why is because of the amortization table. Because if you keep refinancing, you're not going to have any equity.
Gotcha.
Right? And so when you want to get it, because when you're paying a mortgage, right, it's a 30-year mortgage, obviously.
Yeah.
So when you're paying a mortgage, the first 10, 15 years, especially the first 10, is all front-loaded with interest.
Yep.
So your payment is $2,000. $1,700 of that, $1,600, depending upon your taxes and insurance, is going just to interest. You're
Smooth,
barely
yeah.
knocking out the principal.
Facts.
So those are good times to refi, right? But like if you keep refining every X amount of years, like you're always going to be always at the top of what your house is worth. You're not building that equity, which is what most people get into a house for, is to have that gap of equity to be able to use should they need it. You know, home equity line of credits. Hey, maybe times are rough. May need to sell this joint and go get, something else. Like, but if I sell it, I'm gonna make $100,000 if I sell it. So, and of course, it has to back end, but you put money in the interim within the house. But still, like, the best time to buy is when you're ready to buy.
Gotcha.
That's when that's the best time. When you're ready for it, go and pull the trigger. Like that's actually very important. Otherwise, you can sit around all day. Someone's always going to say the market is good, market isn't good. During COVID, they were saying the market's not good. When you're getting 2% rates, what's not good about that?
Damn right.
They rate 2%, 3%.
Damn
Someone's always
right.
going to say something. I feel like when you're ready to buy, that's the best time.
For sure. I definitely agree with that. How much should I save?
So I think you should save about 6 to 7% of the total sales price of the house you want.
6 to 7%?
6 to 7.
A bullshit. A bullshit. A bullshit. A bullshit.
6 to 7. Okay.
Sorry, I speak fast.
Yeah, no, I was like, damn, 6 to 7. Look at that working at.
6 to 7%. I would have that tucked away. If you have a pretty good realtor, you can contact me at Beau Morgan. You probably shouldn't need to use all that, right? Especially if you're a first-time home buyer. You'll have certain first-time home buyer programs that will give you money.
Beau knows.
Beau does know. Beau knows. Beau knows football too. We're gonna talk about them Falcons, them Dirty Birds too. But anyway, that's for a different day.
Rise up. Go ahead.
But if you have a good realtor, they'll be able to negotiate a lot of stuff for you, even to getting some of your closing costs paid by the seller. Whether it's 1%, 2%, that saves you money on the back end. If I save you 1%, 2% up front, you'll be able to use that extra money, just furnish the whole house cash instead of getting a credit card at Ashley's and getting everything done.
Facts.
So I would save 6 to 7%. So let's say on average at a $300,000 house, right? That 3% is 9, so about $18,000 you can save up, and you'll be more than ready to go. Because down payment for an FHA loan was 3.5%.
Gotcha.
And then closing costs would be all that. If you pay closing
You
costs,
got both of them in that.
it gives about 6 to 7. But again, you won't be able to use all that, especially if you're a first-time home buyer. They give you a whole bunch of credits right now, and the reason why I can't be too specific on the programs because they do change. And a lot of the stuff, like the state programs generally stay the same with small variations from year to year, but they'll run out of that fund for a certain time until the new fiscal year comes, and then they'll replenish the fund for some first-time home buyer programs. And some are also county-specific as well, and not just state-specific. And so it depends on where you're at. And once you find out where you're at, then you can look around at what's going on in your area for those programs.
Gotcha. So in the same instance, too, as far as saving, what are some easy ways to come up with a down payment? Can it be gifted? Can I borrow for the down payment, or only can borrow for closing costs? What's some easy ways to come up with the down payment?
Yeah, so the down payment can be, the down payment, hold it, now you about to stump me. Gift funds, you can use that to help with your closing costs. Gift funds from a family member you'll be able to use to help with your down payment and closing cost assistance. That's one way to come up. Of course, I don't know everybody's budget, but looking at it and finding ways where to cut back, where to save. Those are great ways to save up for it. I know a lot of jobs when you first sign on to give good hiring bonuses. I know right now police they looking for a whole bunch of people.
My man told he about to be a police officer. They gave away
25,000.
I said, huh?
They give
Off
it
the rip.
25K.
I changed me a bit.
They give it
sure.
$25K. So some of those jobs sign on bonuses, and even with your employer, I keep going back to these programs. They're just it's integral for your first time home buyer. Even some employers give programs as well. Have money set aside for first time home buyers, and so just from being employed at that program. At that employer. But yeah, just saving up. You can get stuff with gift funds. from friends or family member. They have to write a gift letter saying that they don't expect repayment. This is just a gift, for them to set their lives up and whatnot.
Gotcha.
Y'all can work that out on the other side. Ain't nothing to do
Yeah,
with me.
just tell me, give me, you can pay the house.
Yeah,
off.
yeah.
For
That
sure.
ain't nothing to do with me. Y'all can work that out on the other side.
For sure.
You might got to wash a car or two every other Sunday. I don't know.
How long is the buying process usually for people that you help buy a house?
Great question. So, during COVID times, we were seeing it very accelerated buying process.
Yeah, people trying to get in and get in.
Oh yeah, I remember being at an open house and there was a line outside. You would think Jay-Z in there about to start performing, at the open house. It's a line to get in the open house. It's sick at that time. So as you can imagine, stuff was very competitive. You would have to write 6 or 7 offers before yours before you would find a house that would get it accepted. It was kind of like a numbers game. Keep putting stuff in, keep putting your name in the hat, and putting our best foot forward. But generally, it could take you about, I always say, 3 to 21 days, given upon the buyer, right,
Gotcha.
to identify a property and to get it under contract. So about up to 3 weeks to find a house to put it under contract, maybe about a month. From that point, you got about 30 days from contract to close. And that's actually a decent speed. I'm not gonna say it's particularly fast or slow. 30 days is fair. It's good. If I was a listing agent and saw a 30-day close, that's good. That's a great closing date. If your agent writes a closing date of 45, 60 days later, that doesn't make your offer competitive because Ball coming in and he can close in 30 days.
Yeah.
So you got to find a way to write competitive offers. So it's always just the thing is you identify a house, you put it under contract. That can take you anywhere from, and we put stuff, again, I told you about a story before we hopped on air. You can put on stuff under contract in one day.
Yeah.
Or it
that
could
quick,
be,
yeah.
it could be that quick. And then from that time, it's 30 days from contract to close. If you're financing it with it cash, then it can be a lot sooner than that, obviously, because you don't have to go through that loan process. Yeah. And as soon as the title gets cleared, you can close. And clear title would take about 7 to 10 days, depending upon how fast the city or county gets back with the title attorney. Yeah. But yeah, so pretty much is just, got those first few weeks to find a house, and then from contract to close is about 30 days. And that's pretty much it. Then you close and you're in the house.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But of course, before that, you go through a lot. You got to save up, you go through the meetings with your realtor, just setting the expectations, what to expect. But after that time, that's important. You gotta set expectations. And so people watch HGTV and think it's one thing.
Yeah, facts.
It's just another.
That's a fact. I know I got $12 to my name. I be on Zillow. Shit, up $500,000.
That's a meme that's going around everywhere.
Facts. The cat, yo.
Yo, that joint is hilarious.
Stewie Griffin, that shit be crazy.
That joint is hilarious, yo. But that's good to me. Even that's cool. Like that shows we talked about earlier. You're getting in the mindset of I want to own a home one day, even if I got $12 in my account. I'm over here looking and seeing what's out there in the field. I'm keeping myself up to date.
Let me go ahead and save
what's going on.
joke.
It ain't gonna be there by the time you fuck it. Best believe that house ain't gonna be there. Yeah. But you get to know what's going on in that neighborhood. Kind of where you want to be, what you're looking for in the house. And sometimes people even go to open houses that got $12 in the name. Hey, I'm just go to open house on Sunday. People who do that are, it's up to them, but. If they have nothing to do and they want to do that, that's cool too. Again, we're thinking about the home ownership. And that's all we need to do is keep them thinking about it, keep them in the forefront of their mind. I
know you just said this too, like the house not gonna be there because like me and my partners we was looking at I found I would say like a safe amount that I would like to finance a house at or whatever. Okay. And but I ain't got the money saved up. Saving is the hard part for me, but it gonna take with time and discipline, Right. For the most part. But literally, I saved it that Monday. The following Wednesday, not that Wednesday right after, but the Wednesday after that, the house was sold.
Yeah,
I said, God damn.
Yeah. I always tell clients if we go into a house and you like it, if it's good, it's gone. And especially in these certain type of markets that we're in, if it's a solid, good house, it's gone. You don't got to worry about it being there for more than a week. It's gone.
Yeah, that's how
it is.
That's crazy word. Can your family or relatives, sister, brother, etc., be a realtor?
Yeah, absolutely. But the only thing is, when you're writing the contract, you're supposed to disclose that, I have this disclosure that this is my son or this is my father or whatnot. If you're selling that house, definitely for sure. Like, agent is related to owner. It's a whole disclosure. Pretty much in all states, you have to disclose that fact.
Like, so you can't be getting over or some shit like that.
I mean, yeah, it's good information for all parties to know. And they want to keep a real estate transaction fair. And I remember when I was in a real estate class to study to get my license. The teacher always said disclose. Like, that was how we figured out how to. When you're on the test, like, should you disclose this? And generally, the answer is, yeah, go ahead and disclose it.
Yeah, even if you ain't got to go ahead and disclose it.
Yeah, disclose it. Now, a lot of investors, when they hear that, they're like, what? And that's just the real estate side of things. And they know that too, but you're an investor, you like to try to not disclose as much as possible, to be honest. But yeah, if your relatives representing you, that's actually great. Be keeping business in the family. That's how it's supposed to go. You know what I'm saying? That's how I look at it. And they just got to disclose that, that they're related. And that's it. Just an agent disclosure. Cool. Very simple paperwork. It's one page.
Facts. If someone had interest in becoming a realtor, what are 3 pieces of advice that you would give? 3.
Interested in becoming a realtor.
Yep.
Son, turn that down, please. Son,
Yeah.
turn it down, really down.
Okay.
Sorry, you have to cut that out. I know that was.
No, we gotta keep that.
No, don't do that.
We gotta keep
the
that.
audio. I know it's messing up. If I hear it, I know the camera can hear it.
That's the best part. He like, yo, hey son, turn that down.
I just had to think I couldn't even hear myself there hearing. I don't know what he playing.
Yeah, that shit funny as hell.
Love you, boy.
Yeah.
I would say definitely if you're looking to be a realtor, right? 3 pieces of advice. Obviously, this is kind of a side note, but when you're in the class, definitely study your vocabulary because you're learning a whole new language. It's like math class. So study vocabulary and then make sure you understand that. That way when your test comes, you'll be able to answer the questions and understand what the question is asking you.
Okay.
But when it comes to actually being out here in the field, totally different story. You can pass the test any day of the week, but forgive me, I don't know the numbers. I don't like to put myself in that negativity, but it's a very high fail rate in real estate. Like most people don't renew their license after it expires in 3 years.
Damn.
Like I think it's a high percentage, like extremely high. You be like, wow, So it's definitely it's a jungle out here. You got to be confident. That's the first piece of advice I would say is confidence. Be positive, right? And just the third and probably the best advice is make it a lifestyle.
Okay.
Make it a lifestyle. It's not a 9 to 5. It's your lifestyle. You got to read, keep up on current events, read certain leadership books, self-help books, work out, health is wealth, work out. All that is incorporated into a realtor's lifestyle. And definitely do not be a secret agent. Everybody on the planet, from the waiter at Ruby Tuesdays to your auntie and them to everybody you meet should know what you got going on and who you are. And of course, there's a way you can go about doing that. You know what I mean? You don't want to be like weird with it, but just be you with it. Make sure they know what you got going on.
Yeah. Everybody know. Oh, you need a house? Go talk to him.
Yeah, like exactly. That don't be a secret agent. How can you get business being a secret agent? You have to talk to the most people and be genuine when you're talking to these people. Be very genuine and be yourself. Because people can sniff out when you're not being genuine. Especially y'all people. You come around us, you like, yeah.
For sure, yeah.
All right, yeah, that's what's up. All right, yeah, I'm gonna hit you. Like they can tell when you're looking at people as dollar signs, people can feel that. And I'm gonna give you one more piece of advice. I'm gonna go because it's a lot of real estate.
Okay.
Value the transaction. Value the relationship over the transaction.
Gotcha.
Don't worry about the money. Don't worry about when it's going to come, how it's going to come. Oh, I need to see if Ball needs to buy a house tomorrow. Like, value the relationship with that person over the transaction. People get caught up in looking at the dollar signs and what it can be and what it should be, and stop worrying about the people. The people is what feeds you in this business.
Do you handle your business? The money will come.
It's going to come. Don't worry about it. That's going to come. Take care of the people, and they're going to take care of you too. They're going to refer you and all that. Take care of the people and do right by people. That's all. That's definitely that's the best advice I can give a realtor.
I feel that. What's up, Bryce?
I'm hungry.
All right, we can go to what you want. Wendy's after this. I got a coupon for a free Frosty.
Pumpkin spice.
All right, go sit down. All right. Thank you for telling me though.
we kind of touched on this too, but I'm still saying it anyway.
Right, yeah.
So, I want to buy a house, but I only got like $50 in my account. Should I even be shopping on Zillow? Should I even be looking around? Should I even be looking around knowing I ain't got no money saved up?
We already touched on, like you said, but I'm just going to expound on my point because
Go.
yeah.
Scrabble.
Yes.
Expound.
Yes. My mom and I played Scrabble growing up my whole life.
Heard you.
But yeah, I'm gonna expound on that because I'm gonna double down on what I said. You know, I'm not one to discourage anybody. I'm one to encourage. And so if you got $50, $100 in your account and you looking on Zillow, I don't see the issue with that. I don't see the issue with that at all.
Yeah.
You know, you got $50, $100 in your account looking at Louis Vuitton, looking at Gucci. What's the difference? Now you're talking about something that you could own, and it's a wealth building tool,
Investment,
and something that's not going to just rot in the closet or get old after time. You can't pass that down to yourself. You can't will that. I mean, you can if you want, if it's valuable to you, but it ain't valuable to nobody else. You know what I'm saying? And so I feel like you should definitely be, just looking, keeping an eye on it. I'm really big on our mind and our mindset and our subconscious mind. I mean, experts say 90% of what we do on a daily basis is done subconsciously.
Yep.
Right. So we got to find a way to change our subconscious mind. How we do that? By altering our words and pictures. So if we're seeing houses, we're seeing how much they cost, we're seeing the words, we're looking at the descriptions, and we're getting that joy of excitement that one day I can be putting a bid on this house.
Yep.
And then you can actually put that into play, into fruition. To me, that's fulfillment. To me, that's fulfillment. So I don't see no problem with it. What they got, because you got $50 in your account. You looking towards home ownership. That's amazing. Do what you got to do, but don't be just, don't do it for 50 years. I will say that.
At some point, you got to all right, take action on
I'm
it.
going to buckle down, or, if you come up with some money, you like, oh, I'm about to buy a car. Nah, just go ahead and get you the crib first. Yeah. Get the whip second. You know what I'm saying?
That's a fact.
So,
that's a fact, man.
Yeah.
Well, I'm about to go put the house on layaway that I was looking at. Does first-time home buyers, do they have an advantage?
It depends, if it's a competitive situation and somebody, because how realtors look at contracts, if it's say if you get 6 contracts in, right? One's a first-time home buyer. First-time home, and say if our contract A is a first-time home buyer, they're offering $300,000. They're putting 3.5% down, so FHA loan. In most counties and cities, if you're a first-time home buyer, they don't have to pay transfer tax, and it's reduced to 0.25, and the seller has to pay it because they are a first-time home buyer. And so on every contract at the bottom is a big old box that says check if you're a first-time home buyer. And they got to check that or put the X there, whatever the realtor does. But contract B is offering $295, but they got a conventional loan. They about to put 20% down. And if I'm the seller's agent, I'm like, not every highest contract is the best offer, right? As far as who has the highest number, what I mean by that.
I love that you said that.
It's not always the best offer. Yeah, it's not always the best offer. I see that's a 20%. They're putting 20% down on a conventional loan. That's a strong buyer. So I know they're going to get the deal done. And so I'll be more inclined to probably go with that, given the circumstances of the scenario with that seller and what's going on with the house, et cetera. But they do have an advantage when it comes to having the programs available to them. They do have an advantage, like I mentioned already, your transfer tax kind of gets reduced and has to get paid entirely by the seller. And also, I mean, it's a lot of first-time home buyers in the market. So if you're competing with other first-time home buyers, it's generally going to be a competitive situation, because a lot of first-time home buyers looking for the similar things around that same time, if that makes sense.
Got it.
And so, yeah, I think they have an advantage to an extent, but when we get into a competitive situation, it may outweigh it. Again, if somebody comes at $290 all cash, okay, they can close in 10 days.
Yeah.
We got to go with that. I ain't gonna wait 30 more days for $10,000 more dollars.
You know what I'm saying? Money.
Yeah, so it just depends on kind of the situation. It really varies case by case.
Okay.
But as far as the numbers are concerned, they do have a lot of stuff where they can save money. Right? They're not putting a lot of money out. They're putting low down payments. They're getting first-time home buyer credits, and as well as getting a transfer tax when it gets reduced and has to get paid entirely by the seller. Okay. And so, yeah, it has its advantages. It's pros and cons to everything. It's life. That's
valid. I've also heard, too, like to pick back off of that, that if you haven't owned or sold a home within the last 3 years, the first time home buyer renews.
It comes back up. Yeah, you're technically a first time home buyer again.
Go.
Right.
That's all right.
So you gotta stop interrupting. They can hear you, okay, son? Remember we said we had to be quiet, all right? Can you be obedient for me? We only got a little bit more. Okay? Say yes? All right. You can just do thumbs up, you can smile and all that, but just no talking. All right.
Everybody wants to buy now. Why do you think that is?
Buy when?
Buy a house now.
Who wants to buy a house?
Everybody wants to buy a house. That's literally the crave. Me working for finance, me seeing, I'm buying a house next year. I'm buying a house next year. I'm buying a house. I'm buying this house right now. I got to buy a house by the end of the year. Everybody wants to buy a house now. It's like a craze. Everybody wants to buy a house. Of course, it's a figure of speech. Everybody wants to buy a house. But why do you think that is such a craze right now for everybody to buy a house? Just like you said, you had a open house and you had a line out the door. Why do you think that is?
At that time, that was different times. At that time, it was because interest rates were historically low. I mean, you only got to pay 2% on the money that they're borrowing you. I mean, that's a no-brainer. As of now, we are seeing a lot of consumers in the market. The inventory is a little bit low, which is keeping the prices, around the same or even going up a little bit. But I feel like what you work in finance, a lot of people are going to be telling you that as well too. Because they want to, they have their stuff together, getting it right. And they always want to keep that as their goal as they're striving for that. And so I think a lot of people are telling you that because that's my goal. This is my end goal. This is my financial goal. It's a big thing.
Okay.
Most people, it's the biggest purchase of their lives. And so a lot of people talk about it. And most people, the average person may only have, maybe once or twice that they do a real estate transaction, on average, if you think about it that way. And so that's why I feel like people are giving you that, but I think the demand is high right now. It's not as high as it was when I first got into the game. But everyone, I think it's like that because everyone is seeing that that's a great way to build wealth. It's a great way to, if you own a house, you have ownership in something, you can have flexibility, you can rent it out, you do so many different things. And then a lot of people are also, we mentioned it earlier on YouTube and seeing a lot of stuff and looking at what's going on. And then also, I think you touched on it, in the, was it Twisted Reality?
Yeah.
Twisted Reality, social media too. They see those Justin LeBoy posts that, buy the house and host NFL Sundays together, whatever they were saying in that post. I don't follow cuz, I don't know.
My nigga. Yeah.
I don't follow none of them and share none of them. But, that's like also a big thing as well. A lot of people are seeing other people in their age bracket and age group, are doing that. And so I think, they want to kind of keep up with, what they're seeing out there too. But yeah, I mean, that means that them people are ready, and then that's good for them that they are looking for that, as their next steps.
Valid. How does making an offer on a home work? Because I know if I go out and look at a house and it's X amount of dollars, but someone might offer more than me.
Right.
What do I do?
So I'm a proactive agent. If my client is looking to make an offer in the home, I pick up the phone and I call the other agent immediately, generally as I'm leaving the showing. Hey, how you doing? Agent Susie. Yep, this is Beau with HomeSmart. Yeah, I just sold your listing with my client. He's very interested. Just want to know if there are any other offers on the table. And I just start with that question and see what they say. If they say, yeah, we have a few, or no offers yet, but a few people told me they'll be writing. We have quite a few interests. My next question, if I hear that, is, okay, when are you presenting offers? Are you presenting offers as they come? Or some agents, they'll set a deadline. Well, I'll present on Sunday. I'll see what I got Sunday at 1 p.m. That's the cutoff. And then me and my seller will get together. By Monday morning, we'll let you know. But if they say I'm presenting offers as I come, I'm going to say, look, we're going to write a full price offer tonight. We'll have it in your email. I'm getting my client's inbox for signatures via DocuSign. You'll have it in your email tonight. If you're going to present it as they come, maybe you guys can present tonight and see if there's something that you're
interested.
That your client is interested in accepting. And then I go home and I start getting the paperwork together. All the paperwork, our forms, just pretty much. Maryland has their own forms. DC has their own forms. Every state has their own forms. And so you go over there, you fill out what needs to be filled, the parameters of the offer, close date. You want to find a way to make your offer competitive. and just put your best foot forward. If that particular borrower or buyer needs seller assistance, putting that in there, but making it in a way that's advantageous to the seller as well. I always say we want to create win-win situations. That's the best way to do business. Obviously, in real estate, somebody wants to come out on top and somebody wants to come out on the bottom. Just general way of life is people, right?
Yep.
But at the end of the day, creating win-wins is great. So let's say if that same agent, Susie, says, hey, I have 2 offers in hand. Now I'm in a competitive situation. Okay, now I need to ask, okay. And they're at list price, I assume. And agents, they can't really disclose what they got like that.
Yeah.
Like, oh, it's 307.
Yeah.
So you got to kind of be finesseful on how you speak to them, and how they speak back is very finesseful, so you got to kind of read them between the lines and feel a lot of stuff out.
Yeah.
And so they be like, yeah, we've had a couple of full price offers and we're getting above list price right now. And then then I go home and look at the comps. Okay, well, what would this house appraise for? This house won't appraise for more than $325,000. It's on the market for $300,000. I know people probably can't go over $325,000. We're in that ballpark somehow. And so now I got to figure out, okay, what can I do? And then I use questions like, so if I write the offer, I say, if we're looking at around 320, would that be wasting my time? And then people like, well, I think it's worth your time. You should go ahead and just send it. And some agents are real squarey. Just submit. Yeah. Just submit your highest and best offer, and that's it. And I do that sometimes too. Sometimes you got to employ certain tactics, right? So it's just agent by agent. You got to feel it out, and you got to see what's going on. Is that answer your question? You kind of wanted the actual contracts and the offer details.
No, for sure. No.
Okay.
Yeah, because I'm like, if somebody outbid me, I'm looking at for getting outbid, or how do I put in an offer for a house that I actually want type thing. That's what I was looking for.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. If you and I'll talk to you like, yo, bud, they got 2 offers on the table right now. It's above list price. I know it's nothing above 325, but if we get close to that number, like if you really want this, like we can go for it.
Yeah.
And you'd be like, but I'm only approved for 323. All right, let me call your loan officer. Woo woo. Natasha, normally you working with my guy, so I know him directly. Call him on the phone. Woo woo.
Having your people, you know your people.
You gotta have. Your network is your net worth. So I call them up. Look, what can they do? Yeah, they could probably get it through 25, and they gotta look at everything on their file on their end, and then we'll just write it in and write it up. But I got to see kind of what you want too, because it's still up to you. I can advise you, like, yo, is this a house you really want this house, ball? I bet here's what it's going to take to get this house. We can probably get it ratified soon. I feel confident in this. Of course, they're going to take what they want to do. We can submit our highest and best and put our best foot forward. If you're not really tripping on it, we'll put it in 310. And if you get out, you should get out. Cool. You know what I mean? But if you get it, great. If you don't, cool. We'll keep looking. It's all about staying positive. Keep the buyer positive, right? Nothing negative. You don't want that. Yeah. So
the biggest thing what I got was you're proactive on it. You jump on right on it. Hey, you can get this.
Yeah. Contact the other agent. Get them on the phone. If you can't get them on the phone, call the co-listing agent. If you can't get them, then hey, you got to put the highest and best offer in. Sometimes they'll update the listing and say multiple offers received. When you see that, you know for sure somebody went over list price. So you got to figure out how to kind of play in there. And all that's about running comps, which is an invaluable skill. Going back to, advice to realtors, run comps. It's like doing bench press or working your muscles. It's like you got to keep working it. Keep running your comps. Keep knowing your neighborhoods. Keep knowing what these houses are worth out here. That's important too. So
That's valid. So of course this is the Code Podcast, right?
Okay.
That's where we at, right?
Yeah.
So
we on ball show.
For sure. So tell me or give me a tip, hint, or some secret sauce that only you can get on this show. Something.
In regards to
home ownership, buying a home, selling a home, etc. Give me some secret sauce, a tip, a hint, something that they only can know or find out here.
From here. So now I gotta dive deep into my bag of tricks. Okay. All right, I'm gonna give you one.
Okay.
And they can find us. Of course, you can find stuff out anywhere, right?
For sure.
We in the internet age. We in the information gathering age. But I think one thing that a lot of people don't know, right? So say if you come into like a lot of cash or whatnot, right? There's a lot of things where some loans like FHA and VA loans, VA loans are only available to veterans, but you can assume those loans. So if you got a friend or family member, and you want to get into a house, like, and they got an FHA loan, they only, say if it's a house worth $300, they owe $220 on the loan already. You can just assume their loan and their mortgage and say that down payment you were saving up, You can just pay them cash on the side. Like, look, here go, not on the side. It's all on top of the table. It's nothing shady, right?
Yeah.
It's official.
In writing, but yeah, we make an agreement. Yeah,
Yeah,
gotcha.
it's in writing. Yeah, like, look, I'm gonna give you $20,000 now. That's, of course, it's not gonna take it up all of your equity, but maybe y'all agree to pay something at a later date, or say if you get it all now. Say if you come into some money somehow. You know how it is. Sometimes you come into some money. So say if you got cash on you, you can assume that loan. That's a way to beat like the rates today. So if you got an interest rate of 7.7 today, but my Aunt Susie loan is, she owed 220 on it. Her rate's at 3%. Her payment $1,600. That same payment today would be $3,200. So I'm just gonna take the $1,600 payment and use my cash to pay Aunt Susie. So now I'm paying her cash. Boom. So now not only if I pay her, my cash is gone, cool, but I'm a young person, and when you're young, it's a good houses are a great way to dump cash in when you're young. Mm-hmm. So prime example, again, if that house is worth $300,000, and I'm getting too detailed, I gotta simplify this up. But if that house is worth $300,000, and if the FHA assumable loans at 220, you now have 80 grand worth of equity that you can sell this house, you can do whatever, like you can refinance it and get your cash right back tomorrow if you want to. But I wouldn't do that given the rates, because remember we got into that house to kind of keep that rate low.
Yep. So
again, just to kind of simplify it, if you know somebody who wants to sell their home, generally it works with friends or family members. Like I remember I helped out a young lady who did this with her family. She was able to get a house, and it was a assumable loan. And of course, that lender still wants to check your credit and stuff like that. Make sure you can assume the loan. Mm-hmm. And once they say, yeah, you can assume it, boom, you give them cash, or you keep them, or you pay them, however y'all work it out. It's like whatever y'all want to do. Like what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna assume, but I'm gonna rent this house out so you can get all the cash flow for the first year or whatnot, or however you want to do it. But just know that FHA and VA loans are assumable. And that's a good tip. You gotta dive a little deeper into that, but that's something good too. A nice gem from the Code Podcast.
For sure. But see, and that ties right into everything's gonna flow right into the last question. How can people get in touch with you? And if they don't have questions that I already asked, if they have questions, whatever, how can they get in touch with you and reach you?
Yeah, definitely. If I was explaining something today that, again, may sound a little too complex, or you just want further clarification on, I know I can kind of bounce around. I can also talk fast. My mama told me I need to slow down when I speak to people. But
that's how you got to do it.
But you can contact me directly with my cell phone, 757-817-5964. I'm on Instagram at Beau, Beau, 5 Morgan. You can find me up there. Always direct message me. I mean, I'm an open book. Anything that I have, I want to share. Whether you use me as your realtor or not. I used to get a little emotional, a little tight about that when I first started the game. But I realized, man, it's about generational wealth. It's about having our people have a bigger share of home ownership in this country. So whether they're using me, using Joe, using, Miss Sally, whoever they want to use, as long as you own it at home and doing what you gotta do, that's cool. So, but yeah, y'all can contact me on Instagram, cell phone, text, call. It doesn't matter either way to me. And like I said, I'm just an open book. And whenever I get knowledge, I take it in, and I'm able to apply it fast. I'm able to teach it in a simplistic way to you. And if my way I teach it is not good, I can try a different way to teach you and try a different way. You know what I'm saying? Because I understand it in its entirety. And so, like I said, I'm an open book. I'm not one to just hold a secret saying, oh, I know how to do this. I know how to do it. I'm just going to keep this in my head. Like, nah, I'm going to give it to y'all too. I'm going to give y'all the game. It's just game. You know what I mean? I got an abundance mindset. It's plenty out here for all of us to get. Stuff's not scarce out here. So definitely, that's how you can contact me. And I'm open to all questions and, comments or concerns or anything.
Relationships, building relationships.
Yeah, that's important.
For sure. Of course, you got anything you want to add on, a closer, anything you want to say?
Man, I do want to say this. I want to appreciate 8 Ball, Deontay Barkley, whatever y'all call him from the audience, from the Code Podcast. Appreciate you sharing your platform, bro, and always, putting other people on. I've always admired your humbleness in the way that you approach life, approach business. You got a real clear mind and mindset, and that's very honorable. It's admirable. And so I just want to say thank you, bro, for sharing your platform, man. It's love.
I appreciate you for being here.
For sure.
You know how we get up.
Yep.
For sure, man. Of of course, that wraps up the episode. Sweet home Alabama. Mama, I'm coming home to you. And we gone. All right.